old chair circle blues. When I see the circles out, I get glum, there is no doubt. Got me the old chair circle blues. When I see chairs in a round, that's when I start to panic. Flap me hands all in the air, the doctor says I'm manic. Oh no, it's not right, association every night. Got me the old chair circle blues. Hey Yo-yo, did you bet the Dalai Lama?
No, what happened?
I went into Pizza Hut and he said, can you make me one with everything?
Oh, Shaggy, I do not believe you.
Hello and welcome to Not the Chair Circle, the antidote to group therapy. Episode 1, Series 7. Yes folks, we're back. All charges were dropped. We return to YouTube, primed and ready to bring you all the latest and up-to-date events from the topsy-turvy world of mental health today. Who writes this stuff? Not bloody ChatGPT, that's for certain. Now, if you're returning to us from Series 6, thank you. And rest assured, Bobby has given us all a good talking to and promises have been made. Things can only get better. Now, in this series, we shall be continuing our look at 21st century maladies, but from a slightly different perspective. In between series, our CEO and producer Bobby No-Mates was subject to one of his renowned brainstorms. Once again, it was regarding mental health issues affecting the population as a whole. Were the emerging mental conditions plaguing modern society actually anything new? Had we in fact seen them all before, merely with different titles? During the subsequent discussion in the canteen about the boss's latest startling hypothesis, Shaggy provided us with the title that we are to adopt for the upcoming series. He said, "Well, my boss, it sounds like what you got there is a case of reconditioned conditions." He then fell off the table laughing and went in search of a curly whirly. The first condition which we will scrutinise tonight has been the subject of much public debate in recent years. Toxic masculinity. Who better to cover this controversial subject than our very own Dr. Robert, Freudian and man, in that order. We shall be meeting up with him later in the programme. In choosing Dr. Robert for the task, Bobby favoured him over our other, newer resident trick cyclist, Professor Yo-yo Pagoda. Now, regular viewers will be aware that the Professor has been with the show for some time now, initially joining us as a guest on Emotional Intelligence, Not the Chair Circle's popular panel game show. Since then, Yo-yo has become a firm favourite with both the audience and the cast and crew. Our regular teleprofessional Mike Gobshite will be back in Studio 6 in his favoured role as chat show host, interviewing Professor Pagoda at the end of the show. He hopes to gain for us all a little more insight into the life of the West Coast Wonder, as the Professor has become affectionately known here in the NTCC building. Before that, we shall have another original offering from musical therapy. Yeah, we are still doing it. Back to tonight's main topic. Dr. Robert has been champing at the bit, ready to be back in harness, hosting his own televisual brainchild, Out of My Mind. Over to Studio 4. Good evening and welcome to Out of My Mind with me, Dr. Robert. And I must say it's nice to be back in my rightful place within the programme. Now tonight we shall be discussing the so-called 21st century mental condition, toxic masculinity. Now as a Freudian, I question the very validity of this so-called condition. The two words in conjunction do not make any sense, not even grammatically. Now, I think it is pretty self-evident that this term was invented by the female faction of the psychological world. As for it being a 21st century phenomenon, I would assert that the claim that men use their masculinity in a way that is somehow oppressive is nothing new. Now, I have been around long enough to remember the rise of all this sort of thing as far back as 1970, when Germaine Greer published The Female Eunuch. Dear old Sigmund must have been spinning in his grave on that day. He no doubt would have declared this all the product of hysteria on Miss Greer's part. And who are we to question the father of psychology? No. Rather, I would look
OMG, I cannot believe what I am hearing. My barely adequate psychic defenses are never going to recover from this. I have never been so triggered. Hi. Still a personnel pronoun. Like, subscribe. All major credit cards accepted. Now what's with this phallocentric hate speech on all non-male society?
How dare you burst in on my show? I know you, another uneducated, unqualified, lay pop psychologist, neurohacker halfwit.
How dare you, you fucked up fossilized father figure? I am one of the importante. I have a following.
What? That dozy-looking girl and the middle-aged woman in the maid's uniform? I see you have no problem exploiting the fairer sex.
Ferris... Brittany, you better be filming this. Consuela, get my pop's lawyers on the phone.
Oh.
What? No, I don't have change. Use Brittany's cell. She's filming with it. OMG. I'm going to sue you for inducing severe mental trauma and for loss of earnings for my podcast while I recover in Switzerland, which you are paying for, by the way.
I am certainly not. How dare you?
How
absolutely ridiculous.
Dr. Robert, Shaggy, all of you, cease and desist at once. I shall shut down this program if I do not have order. Shaggy, do something.
You are, boss? What make it in there? No fear. She's more of a man than Oliver, me.
Oh no. Shaggy.
All right, hang on. Taking your knickers in a twist.
Absolutely
Well,
ridiculous.
is that what they call the Battle of the Sexes, viewers?
Now, listen to me, my good woman.
I don't think we're going to get much further tonight, so it's good night for me, and it's good night from him. And
bury you, you fraud.
say you, viewers. Well, viewers, I think we've seen a fair argument that both of the sexes can assert themselves in any given situation. We would, of course, welcome your comments on the subject. I'm sure this is a debate that all would like to see brought to a definitive conclusion. And now it's time for the first visit of the series to the rehearsal rooms, with the return of that firm favourite, musical therapy. Look, we took a vote. It was close, but it's definitely happening. The Baldy Bard is back to regale us with yet another of his keen insights on society today. Musical therapy. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Baldy Bard. This is a song I wrote after being accosted by some well-meaning radical outside the Asda for the 1000th time. Well, you're just back from the demo where you made your voices heard, and you punched the air and shouted the fervour of the herd. and you felt so dead important as you waved your placard round for a party that will not exist 1,000 years from now. The planet is a big place unless you're out in space, and we're just clumps of atoms scattered on its face. You think you're individuals, but you're just part of the whole, like a tree trunk, or a car park, or a biscuit, or a vole. You can shout and wave your banner, say the things that should be said, if it makes you feel important, but pretty soon we'll all be dead. The planet is a big place, unless you're out in space, where luckily it's the only one that's got a human race. The planet is a big place, unless you're out in space, so you can keep all of your opinions and get your leaflet out of my face. Well folks, topical observational commentary from a man who doesn't know the meaning of the word controversy. He doesn't know the meaning of a lot of words, some considerably smaller than that one, but I digress. And now we come to our main feature tonight. Our teleprofessional Mike Gobshite is back in his rightful place, Studio 6 with his comfy chairs, ready to interview his very special guest tonight. But before that, it falls to me to express the extreme gratitude of the whole gang to you, our cherished audience, for allowing us into your homes once more. I, as always, would simply like to thank you for your kind indulgence. Over to Studio 6. Hello and welcome to Gobshite with me, Mike Gobshite. Well viewers, it's really great to be back here in Studio 6 doing what I love the best, meeting interesting people from all walks of life. Now my guest tonight will need no introduction to regular viewers. Since he joined Not the Chair Circle, he has revolutionised the psychological input of the show, providing a profound contrast to our resident analyst, Dr. Robert. He has also proved to be a popular and useful member of the team. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Yo-yo Pagoda.
Oh, well, how lovely of you to say that, Mike. Namaste. Namaste, everybody. It is my absolute pleasure to be here. And may I just say straight away what a beautiful studio you have here. It's absolutely adorable.
Thank you, Yo-yo. Now, although you are already a familiar face to our audience, I think it is fair to say that you have remained a bit of an enigma since you arrived here.
Well, yes, Mike, I suppose that's true. But it was not by my design, I assure you. I think that total transparency is so important if people are going to open up. In my profession, trust is all. I am an open book. Please ask me anything.
Those words are every chat show host's dream. When you first arrived, your now iconic t-shirt caused quite a stir. Can you tell me about it?
Oh, this? I call it my little icebreaker. It's to let you know who I am and to invite you to tell me who you are.
I see. However, I believe that Yo-yo Pagoda was not your given name at birth.
Indeed not, Mike. I was given the name Jonah Fiscal Pronoun the Fourth by my parents, Jonah the Third and Martha Pronoun.
Of the famous industrialist family pronoun.
Yes, but my path led elsewhere. I simply could not embrace the millionaire industrialist capitalist lifestyle. At 18, I changed my name and headed for the West Coast to pursue my dream.
When Richard Alpert took on the name Ram Dass, it was given him by his guru. How did you come by the name Yo-yo Pagoda?
Well, Mike, Yo-yo Pagoda is entirely my own invention. As you know, a pagoda is a place of quiet contemplation and reflection, which is what I felt I wished to dedicate myself to spiritually.
And Yo-yo?
Well, while the pagoda represents my spiritual manifestation, I identify with the yo-yo in the physical world.
How so?
The yo-yo falls downwards but keeps hold of its thread. All it takes is the tiniest action for the yo-yo to be shooting upwards again. I took the first tiny step from the mansion where I was raised, one small action, and I was heading skywards to my destiny.
But your stay on the West Coast was quite short-lived, I believe.
Yes, Mike. When I got through initial training at the University of Hawaii, the community faculty helped me map out my life plan.
Do go on.
Well, the commune leaders took the money from the sale of my shares in Pronoun Pharmaceuticals and invested it in their new whole soul retreat in Costa Rica. I was all set to go with them and further my work on tactile immersion therapy. The faculty decided, however, that my path did not lie with them at the retreat, but rather spreading the word further afield. Luckily, they had just enough money left to buy me a one-way ticket to London, England. They even saw me onto the plane for Luton before they headed for the Trans-Costa San Jose flight.
And you somehow discovered the gang here in Not the Chair Circle?
Yes, the faculty did some very extensive research on YouTube, and they said when they saw Bobby, he looks like just the sort of person who would welcome a talent like you, Yo-yo. They wrote to him telling him of my core values and my commitment to free enlightenment for all. I was absolutely thrilled when Bobby invited me to join the team as counterpoint psychologist to Dr. Robert.
And the rest, as they say, is history. Now, your slot on the programme, Ups and Downs with Yo-yo, has proved to be a runaway success.
Okay.
However, there is one more fact about you that the public are not yet aware of.
Really, Mike?
Yes. Your slot begins with a very catchy jingle. Is that not correct? Now, I happen to know that that jingle is actually part of a complete song penned by yourself. What's more, there is a video of you and your group, the Mind-Body Connection, performing the song, which we are proud to present tonight.
Oh, no.
Before that, will you all please join me in giving a warm round of applause to my special guest tonight, Professor Yo-yo Pagoda.
Why, thank you. That is so lovely, Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time on these shores, it is my pleasure to present, in his alternate guise as pop performer, Yo-yo Pagoda and the Mind-Body Connection.
Namaste, everybody. When you're on your own, sometimes the world can feel lonely. Friends call by, but no one's got time to stay. Be your own salvation. Try self-affirmation. Look in the mirror and say, I'm doing just fine. And thank you for asking. I know that you're mine. As thoughts they're amassing. When life seems so perverse, just trust the universe, you will find there's love everlasting. Just look within and trust your own self-reliance. For you're the one who nurtures you every day. Just be your own best friend. You'll be with you to the end. Whenever you ask, you know that you're gonna say, I'm doing just fine. And thank you for
You have been watching Not the Chair Circle, written, composed and performed by Bob McGowan, aided and abetted by the people in his head. This has been a Bobby No Mates production.
When life seems so perverse, just trust the universe, you will find there's love everlasting. What's even greater is sooner or later, as you go on your way, the joy deep inside is too big to hide. When anyone asks, you just say, I'm doing just fine. And thank you for asking. I know that your mind has thoughts they're amassing. When life seems so perverse, just trust the universe, you will find there's love everlasting. There's love everlasting. And thank you for asking.